Welcome back to part 2 of top 10 worst TV parents. I'm just going to do a quick rundown of numbers 10 through 3 and then continue onwards with number 2, dishonorable mentions, and number 1. So number 10 was Red and Kitty Foreman from That 70s Show because shove a foot up your ass, y'all. Number 9, Rainbow and Dre from Blackish. I found the show kind of meh. Didn't really do anything for me. Number 8, Ned Flanders from The Simpsons. Howdly doodly, yo. Number 7, Kenny's parents from South Park. You killed Kenny! His parents never protected him from dying. Seriously. Where were they? Nowhere. Number 6, Cletus from The Simpsons. He had too many kids. He couldn't keep his legs closed. He was hillbilly and white trash. Number 5, Charlie from the Twilight Saga. Oblivious as fuck. He was a police chief in a town where he didn't know anything about the Cullens, yet he let his daughter marry into their family. He didn't even know they were vampires. He didn't know they didn't eat human food. He didn't know that they ate grizzly bears raw. He didn't know that there are no grizzly bears in Washington State. I don't know. He was dumb. 4, Goofy, father of Max, oblivious and careless, even more oblivious and careless than Charlie from Twilight. Just dumb as rocks. Stupid with a double O. Number 3, Alan and Judith Harper from 2.5 Men. Men. It was a bad show. I didn't understand the comedy. I hated the humor. The humor was shit. It was garbage. Charlie Sheen was horrible. The laugh tracks were condescending and annoying as hell. I didn't like the housekeeper lady, the one with the red hair who had a bunch of cameos in like 500 other sitcoms. I didn't care for her. I never saw Judith Harper in it. I didn't know that she was actually there. And Alan was just super whiny. He was whiny, and he couldn't stop whining about fucking anything. Okay, so down to number 2, we have Julie and Jimmy Cooper from the OC. Now, the classic OC parents were Kirsten and Sandy Cohen. Sandy Cohen was the DILF of all TV shows in the mid-2000s. When I was in early high school, I didn't watch the OC because I was watching Wizards of Waverly Place, I guess? Yeah, I think I was watching Wizards of Waverly Place and watched a lot of Degrassi and those other digital cable TV shows that weren't on basic cable. I was babysitting a lot. I was watching SVU all the time. I didn't really care for the OC or Dawson's Creek or Riverdale or a lot of those heavier teen shows on regular channels. Even regular 90210 Beverly Hills, the reboot, I didn't get into until it was on Netflix. So yeah. So Julie and Jimmy Cooper were the next door neighbors. They played Misha Barton's parents. Her name was Marissa on the show. She was just kind of that meh girl. The girl next door who was just kind of meh. She didn't have a lot of substance or personality, but she was supposedly the pretty girl of the show. I always thought the pretty girl was Summer. Summer was prettier. Played by Rachel Bilson. She was prettier than Marissa. Yeah, so Julie and Jimmy, they were chaotic. Julie was the gossip bitch of the entire area of the Orange County and the OC and the gated community where they lived. Julie was the gossip queen. She was the bitch in charge. She was also a redhead, and I've always found that redheads are very dominant personalities, and apparently they played that one pretty well in that show. She was just a piece of work. And eventually, her being a piece of work backfired on her at the end of the series, where she could no longer function in life, at any public functions, in any way of functioning. She fell apart to pieces and couldn't get herself back up. Oh well. Oh well, oh well. And Jimmy Cooper, he ran his businesses, he ran his friendships, and he ran his life and his family into bankruptcy over bad bets and just bad business deals and shady business and bad money, bad spending. he was a mess too, and they were alcoholics, and they thought that they were above everyone because they had all this big money and could afford a fancy house in a gated community with a pool. Oh my god. Big whoop-de-doo. I do not envy you. Noopsies was the word that they used in this show to describe people like Julie and Jimmy Cooper. They were called noopsies because they were prudes, I guess. They were snotty, they were gossipy, they were prudes. They were those cliquish rich people, the wealthy people who think they're above everyone. So the slang word for that was noopsies. I like that word. Noopsies. So, dishonorable mentions. Joyce Byers from Stranger Things. She lost her shit, her marbles, really quickly in the show. Winona Ryder played her. She played a great role, but she lost her marbles pretty early in the show, and even at the end of season 2, which I didn't even get to the end of season 2 of Stranger Things, but as far as I did get, she was pretty much emotionally on a different planet. Second dishonorable mention, Tommy and Janet Gavin plus Sheila Keefe from Rescue Me. Now, I watched this show on Netflix and also on library DVDs like 4 or 5 years ago. Rescue Me was chaos. It wasn't really about firefighting. It was about Dennis Leary being a slut and not being able to keep his legs closed. So he was not only fucking his wife, he was fucking his wife's sister. Yeah. Next one is Chief Wiggum from The Simpsons. Just kind of like Charlie from Twilight or Goofy from Disney. Chief Wiggum is a dumbass. And he's fat. And he's the father of Ralph, who, unfortunately, is also a dumbass and fat. And Ralph would eat things that weren't food. He would put things up his nose. He would put things in his ears. He would stand on his head. He would feed his arm to a dog. He would do anything and everything that was unsafe, dangerous, and stupid. And he would just insult himself and berate himself and not even know that he was doing that. And he would wet his pants all the time. And he had a crush on Lisa. Oh my god. Ralph Wiggum, Chief Wiggum, pathetic. Just pathetic. Then we have Randy Marsh from South Park. He was pretty dumb. He was pretty weird and pretty oblivious and just lame as fuck. Then we have Leanne Cartman from South Park. Another dishonorable mention. Cartman's mom was a failure because Cartman was a failure. But remember, it begins with the parents, not the kid. The parent is the failure. And Leanne Cartman, you are a failure. Thank you so much, Matt and Trey Parker. Our number one, drum roll please, honey. Drum roll please. Peter and Lois Griffin. Pretty much self-explanatory. They fail in every episode at parenting. They fail at Chris. They fail at Meg. They think Meg is a failure and an accident and a mistake. They ignore Stewie all the time. They only really just talk to Brian. Talk about failures. They don't even do anything to care about Stewie. Despite he's the baby, but at the same time, he's kind of like a middle-aged man in disguise as a baby. Wanting to take over the world with a time machine and a ray gun. And that's Stewie. And that is a failure of parenting. Oh, and don't forget the time that Lois and Stewie got into a battle with guns and trying to kill the fuck out of each other. And she tried shooting him with AK-47s and other military-grade assault rifles. That's major parenting fail, but he still survived anyways. So anyways, we have our top 10 TV worst parents from Red and Kitty Foreman to Peter and Lois Griffin. Please click the like button, subscribe, that notification bell up there. Please comment about who you think your top 10 TV worst parents are. Have a great night, y'alls.